Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to episode 18 of the Deu Awuok Show, where it is my job to interview professional and collegiate soccer players about their life journeys around the beautiful game. On this episode, I speak with Michael Leon, a current player for the University of Michigan's men's soccer. Amongst other things, we talk about his experience growing up in Accra, Ghana, and getting to play for the Right to Dream Academy, his trial experience with Manchester City, adjusting to the new life in America, as well as the Michael Leon Project and his involvement with giving back to the community. I really enjoyed this super engaging and insightful episode, and I hope you do too. Michael, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me, man. I'm excited for this conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with introductions. So tell us your full name, where you're from, and an interesting fact about you.
My name is Michael Leon. I'm born and raised in Accra, Ghana. One interesting fact, ooh, I'll say English is not my first language.
You got quite the English. So that's quite impressive. What was life like growing up in Accra, Ghana? Talk to us about those early childhood days.
Growing up in Accra, Ghana is crowded, overpopulated.
Uh-huh.
Population density is insane, but we loved it. We lived next door to neighbors, and what we did was school and grab our backpack and go play. On the dirt field and just kick around. Our lives were just moving in circles. So we go to school, we eat, and then we play, and that's it. Yeah.
Sounds like quite the experience. When did you start playing soccer, and do you remember who got you involved with it?
I started playing when I was five. Actually, I was always involved in it. My dad played, my older brothers played with five boys. But the
Hmm.
person that really got me into it more was my younger brother. He was really good. They called him Nana Messi. He was left footed player. And anytime we played our backyard, he always got compared to me. And then obviously, like if you know the African culture, even if you may have something over him, they pick the younger one as the better player. And as young as I was, like I was very competitive and I started letting that bother me a little bit.
Yeah,
Uh, and so I started to talk to my dad to take me to a serious team, a coast team, which was like a 15 minutes walk out of my house. And that's when I started getting serious with it, just to prove to myself that I could actually be as good as I thought I was.
it makes a lot of sense. You grew up playing with the Right to Dream Academy. Talk to us about how the opportunity came about and your experience with that organization.
Uh, like I mentioned before, when I was 5, 6, I told my dad I wanted to be in a serious coach program. And
Hmm.
then I remember going to see a coach called Coach Rashid, and the club was called Great Corinthians. I still go back there. I talk to the kids when I do. But ideally, every kid that plays in the neighborhood small clubs want to end up in the big leagues. And in Ghana at that point, or still it is, like the big leagues are the academies. During my time, it was Right to Dream, Feyenoord, and Red Bulls. Those were like the top three ones. But Right to Dream was progressively getting bigger and bigger over time. So every kid's dream was to get into Right to Dream. So I remember playing with my local team for like 4 or 5. And I started trying out for Right to Dream when I was 11. I went there, I tried out during my time. I remember it was me, Kamal Soa, Kudus Mohammed. It was a lot of players. Like we played at a place called Lego, and I didn't make it to the final round. They sent me home. I remember
Yeah.
coming back and crying a lot. And when I turned 12 again, I got a chance to go there again. And during that time, I was actually able to fix my mistake from the year before and then
Hmm.
the year before. Because when I was 10 and a half, almost 11, I also had a chance, but that one wasn't quick. So let's totally saying twice of being in the academy and sent back home. The third time it had to be a charm. And so when I was like 11, 12, mainly 12 maybe, I got signed by the academy. I got my first scholarship. Yeah.
That's quite incredible, man. How did that feel, to finally get it after all those years trying to get in?
I would say exactly the same thing I said when I was graduating from the academy and they were trying to do a little story about me and they asked me about it because I think I was the first player to get sent home 3 times and come back again. It's a one time and nobody comes back. It's so heartbreaking for every kid. Uh, for me, I think I always knew what I wanted, and that was to be there. So anytime they told me what I was missing in my game or my in life, I went home and I cried, and then we fixed it. It was nothing, and we weren't ready to throw the towel. So you cry for a day, you pick up your shoes or your boots, and we didn't have any other choice. Showed up to the field, and we progressively got better and better over time. I remember receiving my scholarship and giving my speech. Everybody has to give a speech. So at that young age, I still had to give a speech. I don't think it was anything good, but at least you can say it was genuine and it was heartfelt because you've worked so hard, weeks and after weeks with lots of kids, and especially with me getting sent home twice already. The moment my name mentioned, I was like, "This is when the real work starts," you know. But this moment, I did it. We did it. There was this excitement rushing through my legs. I couldn't feel my legs anymore. You standing and you feel like you floating because you feel like everybody's looking at you. But that was a moment where you feel like your life could change forever. So um, it was exciting, and to this day, I'm so grateful for the academy because my life was changed totally because of that very moment where I got signed.
No, that's awesome, man. I mean, to have that level of like mental resilience and maturity at that young age is quite impressive, right? I think having that grit to be able to bounce back from failures is probably one of the leading indicators of success, and to be able to do it at that young age is incredible. And so, kudos to you there and your family.
I also think honestly, we had no choice. You look at that age, like if you want more of your life, you look behind and you realize there's not much left behind. There's only reason to go
Mm,
forward. So that alone was an edge to keep us going. So I am thankful for some of the things that we didn't want in our life because they ended up being the urge to want to keep fighting and being there.
absolutely, yeah. Sounds like failure was not an option there. So, while with the Right to Dream Academy, you guys had the opportunity to train with some of the top teams across the world and in Europe in particular. One of those teams being Man City. Talk to us about that experience and what it was like.
For me, like when I went to the academy, I always say this. I was such a late bloomer in terms of my confidence. First
Hmm.
year, second year, I was struggling. I hadn't grown into my full potential, my full body yet. You could see it in my game. But when I started picking up, I remember doing my first trip to Brazil with a team, played the Nike Premier Cup, and we played a lot of tournaments, starting, winning. I remember my second trip, we went unbeaten. We beat everybody in Europe that year. It was crazy. But
Wow.
I had a chance to play with City a bit, and that was a turning point in my mentality. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, as a top club, if they're able to notice this and give me the opportunity to come train with them, then there's something special that I'm sitting on based on my confidence. Right to Dream played Man City when we were playing U15, U16, and we
Hmm.
played them, and I played wing back, and the game was good. The field was amazing. I remember one of my coaches saying the field was so smooth that he said, "If you have a bad performance on the field like this, then it's you." You know, we're, we're so used to playing on dirt field, and like you could easily blame your touch on the bad field, but then we
Yeah.
had no option. The field was amazing, facilities was perfect, so everybody came with the A game. And in that game, I remember having a goal, having an assist against City. We beat City 3-0. And the following day, I heard that my coaches were like, "Hey, you guys have the me." I got called to come train with the U15 U16 City, and I think the whole experience was something that definitely shaped my mentality for sure.
No, that's incredible, man. How long was that training period with them?
It went on for weeks, training, playing games. I played games with them. I
Hmm.
think sometimes the fun part was like we get to either play a tournament in training, and whoever wins, you get to be the ball boy at the end of
Oh,
the first team game. So we used to go crazy in those small sided, but it went on for weeks. So we felt like a part of them for sure.
sounds like quite the experience, and to have it at that young age is quite impressive. So after the Right to Dream Academy, you got a scholarship to Hodgkins Prep School in Connecticut, a boarding school. Talk to us about your experience coming to America and the adjustment.
Before coming to Hotchkiss, my travel periods and my experiences were soccer, school, in the academy, then Europe playing,
Hmm.
school online. I'd never been to America, anywhere close North America. Anytime we traveled before going to Hotchkiss, it was in a park with a team. And for the first time, it hit me. I was going to travel by myself and be on myself alone with no teammate to have to figure life out. It was exciting, but at the same time nerve wracking. I moved from literally like wearing athletic clothing every day to learning how to wear a shirt and a blazer and even sometimes figure out how to tie a tie, wear sperries. It was incredible, but at the same time too, it was scary. I came by myself. You come in the fall and you have no idea the weather is gonna change that quick. so so September, October, I'm wearing shorts. Not even September, I'm wearing shorts, and within like a week and a half or 2 weeks, I'm cold and I don't even have the right clothes to be able to change.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a host family yet, and so you freeze. So weather was a big challenge. And Hotchkiss, luckily enough, was is one of the best prep schools. Hard.
Yeah.
Coming from the academy and going there, I'm surrounded by very very smart people. As a person, as a player, what that does to your mentality, holy shit, am I supposed to be here? Like,
Yeah.
um, can I even make the adjustment academically to be able to focus on football?
Yeah.
So academics was hard, food was hard. I missed my jollof, my fufu, my banku, and I had to come here and start eating potatoes, mashed potatoes, and some pork that was cooked differently. It was
Yeah.
totally different. Making new friends, the language barrier, So as much as I was excited, there was also a lot of things that I had to adapt to be able to succeed.
No, that makes a lot of sense, and it kind of echoes my experience too. I came to the States about 15 years ago and gone through the same experience where the weather, the food, like I didn't speak English at the time, so the language barrier, it was a lot. But I came with my family, so that made it a little bit better. I wasn't just by myself. But how long did it take before you got a host family?
I think I would say a year to fully have one.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I was going in and out with them. I'll go stay with them. I know my first holiday break, I stayed at the school by myself. It was
Wow.
boring. It was hard, and then I always say this. I am my best support system. I am incredibly grateful and proud of the Styles family because without them, my life will be so much harder. I think we
Hmm.
take it for granted how much when people bring us into their homes, the amount of stress it elevates off your shoulders and your chest, so you can be able to focus on the task that you are trying to pursue, which is in our case what be the best student athlete we can possibly be, when you don't have to worry about where I'm going to sleep, where I'm going to spend time when the holidays are coming,
Yeah.
But I met Graham Styles. He went to Hatchie School. He tried out for the soccer team at that time, and we met. And then a couple holidays later, he invited me to come stay with him in Florida,
Hmm.
and I went, and I felt at home, and
Yeah.
they started inviting me back, and honestly, the rest is history because they still fly here and come see my games here under the lights, and it is a bond that I don't see going anywhere anytime soon.
That's incredible, man. To have a second family here and help with that adjustment. How was adjusting to soccer, right? Because you came by yourself, right? Didn't have the teammates, didn't have a family, but somehow you would still make, 3-time All State and a number of All Stars. Like, how was your adjustment, and what do you think helped you on the field?
Honestly, like you come in and the pressure I'm coming in and I want to make a name for myself. I want to do well. I'm leaving the academy where you leaving kids you grew up with and knowing that like in a couple of years they're gonna sign for first teams, you know,
Hmm.
and you've only known soccer and you also want to prove to yourself that you can be that kind of player. Coming to America right away, the expectation is they're bringing Michael Leon into Hotchkiss. You want to come change the team culture. The team was not doing well before. So that pressure was getting to me. I wasn't doing so well. And my freshman year, I remember scoring like maybe 3 goals. It was such a
Yeah.
big adjustment, like dealing with everything. I think if I had to point out three things that really helped my mentality to be able to start doing well was finding a host family. That was a big adjustment because then right after that, like you start feeling loose, you start focusing on what's important. Second
Hmm.
thing was having role models. I had Usaini Buddha, shout out Hussein Buddha. At that time he was still at Millbrook, so I would call him some nights and be like, "Dude, this is hard," And then he started helping me, talking me through what it's really important and what I need to focus my life on. Um, I need to. I remember him talking about you need to start leaning towards the resources around there to be able to help you learn ways to be able to finish your homework quicker so you can get enough sleep and wake up so you can go do an extra training. I was talking to Faraz Quarter who was at the time from the academy too, but he was a junior at that time too. So he had been through the process a bit to be able to give me the best advice possible to figure life out. So host family, having role models from the academy was huge. And the third thing was mentality, man. I changed my mentality. I said, I we've come so far away to let these challenges affect me coming out on the other side. So after my freshman year, we flipped it. We set goals. I decided to show up to every camp. We started to run. We started to do that personal training because it's so much easier to come from an academy and come to prep school soccer and let the level drop.
Hmm.
Because you used to play with people on the same mindset, and then you come in and you're on the team with hockey players, and you know, you have to be able to maintain your level so you don't drop your standard to any ground. Because if you do that, then you're gonna lose sight of why you really came.
Yeah, no, it's super important, and like they say, iron sharpen irons, and I think it's natural and very normal to like drop your level to that surrounding you. So it takes an extra effort to like want to raise a level to get others to join you. Uh, what was your college recruiting process like, and why did you choose to go to University of Michigan?
When in my sophomore year, when I started scoring a lot of goals, like making name, I found my feet. When you get a groove again, I started getting a lot of offers. And I remember one camp. We went to one event, Loomis, and every coach you can think about was there. And I think I came in, had like two goals.
Hmm.
I didn't even start. I think I played like 2020 because like our team was winning already. Had two goals on the way out. Um, Duke used to be one of the schools that I was looking at. So I was trying to talk to him, and then I had one of the Michigan coaches come from behind me and tap me and hug me. They're not supposed to even like talk to you, but Tommy, he hugged me right away. And he says, "Come to Michigan," and he walked away. And I think, I don't know if I'm supposed to even say this, but in that moment, I was like, wow, like he's willing to take a risk to be able to show me how much he cares and what he sees in me. So when I went home, um I started rethinking because I wanted to be in a program where I was gonna go there and equally very much get valued, and um ultimately to I wanted to be surrounded with coaches who wanted my growth as a player and as also as a human being as a whole. And so that was the vibe I was getting. So then I took an offer to come here. No, I think I went to Dartmouth first, went to see Dartmouth, and then I decided to take an offer to come, a visit to come to Michigan. And right here, when I got here, I fell in love because not only was I getting the best of both worlds, I was also getting the chance to grow and learn from people who want us to be better human beings, because there's so much
Hmm.
more after soccer. And so I came here, and Michigan is a top school for education, and the program had a platform to be able to get better. So, what more could I have asked for? And I think that's how I came to a conclusion that this is it.
Nice. You talk about your experience and the struggles you had adjusting to high school soccer, right? Coming from Accra, Ghana, and not having a host family, coming to a new environment. Um, what was your adjustment like to the D1 level? Was it similar? Was it easier? And what do you think helped you with that adjustment?
I think for me, this is something I'm gonna have to note to myself going to, inshallah, going to the next level.
Hmm.
My first year is always a struggle for me, and sometimes the older you get, you don't have the luxury of a time to make that adjustment quick. But that being said, my freshman year, I came in right away, and I we had just come off the COVID year, and so I hadn't really played in a actual games in like a year and a half. Um, which was different. But I was running every day. I was getting ready for college, but there's so much more to be able to get prep for this level. So I came in here, and right away I started performing because the ball never really leaves. I didn't know much about taking care of your body, recovery. Like I'll come and I'll play my ball and I just go. Like, but you need to learn about time to sleep, things to eat, proper recovery, going to class, taking care of things outside soccer, you know,
Hmm.
uh, being in tunnel vision. Don't let your focus get distracted left and right. I didn't have a lot of experience in that. I was just coming and ball and doing all that things, and it didn't take long after playing like 4 or 5 games starting for my body to start breaking down. So I started struggling in college due to injuries. Like I couldn't get through like the whole game, like and then And then sophomore year, I got stuck in Ghana for visa problems. These are some of the problems you deal with as a international student or international player trying to make it. I got stuck in Ghana for a visa problem for the whole like summer. Struggle to train. You can't do any, not knowing you're gonna get back. And so when I got in, my body wasn't even ready for it. Again, I jumped in straight into the season, and then within a week of just playing, I hurt myself again, missed pretty much the whole season. So last year was my best season so far, and that was when, like I said, I figured it out where I knew how to take care of my body, what to eat, when to sleep, what to train to be able to um, make my qualities, because my qualities are explosive, strong, fast, 1v1, to be able to maximize the abilities God has given me even better, and that's why things are looking much better. And like I said, inshallah, it's only gonna get better. But to answer your question, yeah, my first year and or two was hard because it was such a big adjustment in terms of like the number of games you play and how to take care of my body, stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and it looks like you kind of found your feet, and as evident by your last season and that being your best season. Hopefully, that continues to the next season. Um, as I was doing research for this episode, your involvement with the community was one of the key themes that came up. Right, talk to us about the number of different projects you're working on and why you're so passionate about giving back to the community.
I think it all started from back in the academy. We had a group, and I was one of the leaders. It was called the Give Back Committee, where we used to like pitch players in the academies ideas of giving back stuff they wanted to do to donors. And when we raise money, we help some of the players to go do projects back at home. And I used to go there and we used to go watch, and it brought me so much joy. It gave me a reason to why we do this, the spark. I remember in the academy is in a village. It's called Old Accra. And so on every, I think it was Wednesday, we will always go in the village and go play with the kids and dance with them. And at that time I was just having fun, but we sooner or later you learn that giving back is not only about um material stuff or money, or it's also time and being able to dedicate an amount of time to somebody, to put a smile on somebody else's face, to make somebody else happy, to make a difference without having to take something out of your pocket, can also be given back. And that was when my life changed in terms of how I viewed the world. My sophomore year, when I lost the season, I was pretty down bad. Like I was even like trying to hang the boots, because again, you lose sight of what's really important. Like I couldn't play. I didn't think I could come back. I was like, I need to find a spark again. And so I decided to partner up with Tough. Shout out Tough. And I wanted to do a project back where I started playing, the very same field where I started playing, to be able to connect myself to my roots so I can find myself. So we decided to create 100 jerseys. I put myself in the shoes of, at that time, what would I have wanted to be able to keep moving in life, coming from such a poor and small background. And so we created 100 jerseys with my name on the back. And because these kids look up to me when I go home, it's exciting to play with them. And so we
Yeah,
went back, and it was amazing. We did a tournament. The whole community came out, played. The kids were wearing the jerseys, screaming my name. It was the fact that like I had felt like my life was going downward because of injuries, but again,
hmm
in the eyes of these kids, they looked at me as a hero and a role model. And now in my head, I was like, whoa, there's so much more I can offer. There's so much more I can do. Like I'm not done. Like I can actually use the talent we have to be able to get bigger platform, to be able to go to the next level, to be able to make these change, because these kids are actually watching. Um, and so we went and we did the project. My whole family came out. The kids were grateful. And that was when I found the spark again, realizing what my actual purpose is to be able to give back the community, and to figure out what success really meant to me. And so coming back, it pushed me, made me want to train harder, because, like I said, the better I get, the more opportunities I create for myself to go to the next level, the bigger
hmm
the platform gets. And when the bigger the platform gets, the bigger of opportunities we can create for the people less fortunate than ourselves. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's super incredible, man, and I'm really happy you're doing that because I'm sure there's kids in those camps that you just interacted recently that were inspired by the act of kindness that will motivate them to go even the extra mile and work a bit harder and hopefully get the same opportunities that you've been blessed with. So good job and kudos to you there. I guess what's next for you as you look for the next year and the next couple of years?
Honestly, it's exciting. I'm getting to my final year in college. The goal right now, I have so much more in me. I want to keep playing.
Hmm.
Uh, I want to have an amazing season. The goal is to this summer, try and get on a few trials, get start getting my name out there, and have an incredible season for myself and for my team. I think the Michigan team we've struggled in the past, but the new family I have right now on this team, everybody's on the same page. Everybody works hard, and so we it's about time we take the program to the next level. And I think when that happens, everybody eats. And so I'm excited to have a big year, and then inshallah, maybe hopefully enter the draft to be able to pursue my soccer career on the next stage.
That's dope, man. I'm excited, and I'll be rooting for you. And hopefully you hear your name in the 2020, is it 2024 draft, right? Is that
It'll be 2025.
2025, 2025 draft?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's coming up soon. As you look over your young career so far, what would you say has been the highlight?
I would say honestly, I would not trade all of my experiences playing from the academy, Europe here for anything because it's only shaped me into the player that I'm becoming, and longevity wise, it's only gonna make me keep going. So I would say my 2016 European trip tour team. I'll show you the squad. I'll show you who was. I'll show you. That was. I'm telling you, the whole team was class. That was one of the best experience. We won like three trophies on the road.
We'll put this picture up on YouTube as well. So you'll send me that picture and we'll add it
I'll
up.
send it to you. This team. I think more than half of them are playing right now on the next level, so it's exciting to see. But it was a team. It was a team. Yeah, for sure.
Nice. What would you say has been the low light of your journey so far?
I'll say injuries. I think injuries have affected my confidence and also the ability to catch a form. And as sad as it is, like soccer has become such a center piece of my mental health or my happiness. So when that gets taken away, because of injuries or whatever, it affects how happy I can be. It affects my mood because again, it is bigger than it is because, like I said, these kids, our family, our communities, they're all looking up to us and they're all looking at us because of these same sport that we've managed to use to get out of where we came from. So I would say for sure my lowest has been dealing with injuries and having it affect my form and my confidence.
No, I absolutely resonate with that because I had a similar experience in college where because soccer was such a big part of my life, right? When when things weren't going well on the field, right? Like a big part of my identity was lost. I just felt, and I felt like I fell in love with the sport, which was not the case. I just think I was just struggling with confidence.
Yeah,
But I think what helped me was the fact that like I had other things going well, right? So I was doing
yeah,
well academically. My career pursuits trying to become an investment banker were going well. I had my social friends and family that was going well, and I think that kind of balanced out a little bit.
yeah.
But it was still hard because I grew up playing soccer. I loved it so much. So then to not be playing the way I know I could be playing, or to be struggling with getting minutes, it was tough mentally to deal with. I guess what do you think helped you get out of that process and that funk of struggling with confidence?
I think my biggest advice for anybody that's in the same position, because I think as a player, it's gonna be a cycle. You're gonna keep always gonna end up finding yourself at some point down there again. And once you figure it out, you can always get out. I would say, God, bro, you gotta always lean back to the man up there. I think getting closer to God was huge. Talking to Him, praying every day. I think it made me see life in a different perspective and allowed me to be able to let go a little bit so He can do His thing. The second thing is you need to surround yourself with people that can pick you up. I think shout out to one of my closest friends here. He plays at Syracuse now. He's called Nicholas Kalukian. He was here at that time when I got hurt, and he could see the like I was fading away with my talents a bit because of how the injuries had gotten to me. So he picked me up, and what he did was you need to go back to the basics. You need to start slow again, training, doing the little things. If it means passing to the wall. every day or running. You need to set the goals right from going back to the basic. And once you start checking off the boxes, you start to feel better and better about it. And by the time you realize it all comes back together, you start to fall in love with the game again. So I think the two things is lean towards God, and if you're not spiritual, just find something that brings you peace. If it does meditation,
Hmm.
just do the little things that used to bring you joy again. Like as for me, it was the giving back project, and that sparked the joy in me again. And maybe some people just need to go visit where they started, or just remember the reasons why you started doing this in the first place. And second of all, just have a support system that's always believed in you, and let them help you pick yourself back up again, because always I've seen obviously Rashford is a top player, but he's going through the mental cycle of up and down, and it's not really, in my opinion, that he lost anything. It's about circumstances, and that can affect any player's confidence. And I have this book here that I read before bed, and I can also recommend that. It's called Talents Code, and that also helped me mentally, because like it tells you about your tendencies of losing confidence and how you can also turn around it. I used to write. I wrote down one of my best games. So anytime I feel like I missed a chance in a game, like even last season, my confidence was down. You go back and then you read that vivid information of that your best game that could have been 5 years ago. You start to smile when you're reading it, because you start to paint that picture of how everybody looked, their fans, their feeling. It all comes back again. And yeah, I think those are a few tips that can help a player come back, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100% agree there. Super insightful stuff. And I would just add for me, um, taking some responsibility. I think when I was struggling with it, it was like if only the coach or the senior players didn't yell at me every time I made a mistake, I would be playing with confidence. And there's some truth to that, right? Like it was just the demands were a lot higher and everybody else was getting yelled at. But I think it took me a while to realize that like that was not unique to me. Every other player was getting yelled at, right? But somehow they were to deal with it, right? So it was like me just being mentally tougher and actively working on improving that, right? Because it was at first it was like I think I can't do anything about it. It's just the environment. But I think once I realized that, like, hey, I do have an active role to play in it. I can't control what other people do and if they yell at me or whatnot, but I can control how I react to it and if I let it affect me, right? So that was something that I think flicked a switch for me and allowed me to like start working on myself and starting to get mentally tougher to like kind of navigate and not let a mistake kind of affect me or my next play.
I actually agree with you, because I'm still like that sometimes, but I used to let outside noise get to me so much, and I used to question, why me, you know what I mean. You need to get out of like the mindset of, whoa, it's me, why always me. um my mom always used to say this in Ghana. She said, if somebody talks about you a lot, that means they care about you. And so I started viewing it that way. When a coach is always on you, there's, in my opinion, there's potential that he sees, and that pressure should be more like a privilege to you, because if he didn't see it, he wouldn't want to get it out of me. And that's how, once you start seeing it, it flips a switch. And also, as corny as it sounds, like, as a player, I think one thing that's also helping me is like, on to the next one. Short term memory. If you've seen Ted Lasso, he even talks about. He said you have to have the mindset of what do you call it? A starfish, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, something like that. You've seen, the reference I'm talking about. But you need to have a short term memory and, okay, next play, because this is football. People are not going to remember what happened 5 days ago if you scored the next one. So
Exactly. That was my problem. I would dwell on the past mistake, and that would affect the next play because I'm not mentally in tune with what's happening now. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have done that, and it becomes a cycle that just repeats on itself. But those are, I think, super helpful advice there. As we wrap up this segment of the podcast, I guess any general advice for young soccer players looking to go play at the college level or beyond, as you look through your experience.
Uh, I think I've said a lot of things, but I think one of the main things that I would advise anybody aspiring to play in the next level is learn how to take care of your body. Because I think you get one body, and once you let it start deteriorate, it's like a slippery slope where it starts getting more hurt. I think you need to, if this is what you want to do, you need to lock in, figure out the things you put in your body, how much you drinking. If you need vitamins, figure out what kind of vitamins are gonna help you be able to not get hurt. Calcium, strong bones. I think my biggest advice would be learn how to take care of your body, because the moment you figure that out, it gives you more leeway to want to train and be better every single day. I know my trainer here, he has a funny quote, but it is true. He says, "Recover hard and train harder." You know, if you're able to do recovery and your body's well prepared or is well cooled down, the following day, you know you can train harder. But if you don't get an ice bath or do normal tech or roll out the day before, you're gonna wake up super sore, and it's gonna affect how well you train the following day. So yeah, that's what I'll say.
100% agree there. It's super important, especially if you want to go to that next level, right? Like I think at the lower levels you can get away with like not taking care of your body, but if you want to play at the highest level possible, those margins matter. We're gonna switch to the next segment of the podcast now, where I ask my guests these similar type questions. For the first question, best player you ever played against?
I'll say Mohamed Kudus. When we're younger, we used to play U13, U15, and he
Hmm.
was a year older, so he would play the U15. I'll play the U13. We called them in internal games,
Yeah.
and you couldn't touch him. Strong, fast, and I think you guys can see it now, even in the Premier League. So I would say him, for sure. Yeah.
On the flip side, the best player you ever played with?
Okay. Well, I'll say Kamaldeen Suleiman. I think yeah, right now he plays with Southampton, so he's just getting back from an injury, so he's not making a lot of noise like he can. But we played together in a lot of tournaments when he was in my age group, growing up in the academy. So I'll definitely say him, for sure. Explosive, skillful. You can't even get to him.
Who's winning the Premier League this year?
Arsenal, baby. What do you? That's not even a question. The Gunners.
Here's my take, really. I think you guys have a harder schedule, and you guys are gonna drop points for sure. I think it's also City. As good as you guys have been, I don't know, something about Arsenal just doesn't give me confidence. So
Look, look. Last season we should have. Last season we should have, and we didn't. This year, this season is the season. London stays red, my brother.
we'll see in a few months. This has been super enjoyable for me and hopefully entertaining and insightful for our viewers. As we wrap up, where can our viewers find you if they want to follow your journey and continue to watch you succeed?
Social media, my Instagram is Mike Leon 22 underscore. I'm not big on Twitter. Yeah, I just started posting on TikTok with my same name, Mike Leon. You'll find me. My documentaries on YouTube too. So you just type my name and it'll show up. But I think I'm mainly active on Instagram for sure.
Nice. Yeah, actually, before we close this out, I want to give our viewers the opportunity to go watch that video, right? The Michael Leon project. The YouTube video is up online. You can go and see that, and it was super insightful, super engaging, and it was him going back to Ghana and as we discussed in this podcast, helping out those kids. So I would highly encourage you guys to go check it out.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Man, you're amazing and I enjoy talking to you.
Thanks for taking the time out of your day to listen and support this podcast. It is very much appreciated. Please follow the show if you don't already do so. The show can be found on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and the rest of the other major platforms. As always, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Much love. This show is produced by Yak Awok and original music by Scott Holmes.